Good evening. Coming up tonight.
A USC icon is being honored by the City of Columbia.
Plus, a historical soccer match is planned to take place at Williams-Brice Stadium.
And what country artist Parker McCollum is doing in Columbia this weekend.
All that and more tonight on Student News at 7.
Live from the Kennedy Greenhouse Studio.
This is Student News at 7.
Good evening, Carolina. I'm Grace Berkery.
And I'm Clarissa Meier. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's no surprise that USC loves their women's basketball team, and the City of Columbia is ready to embody that support. Dawn Staley, the women's basketball coach, will have her own statue across from the State House off of Main and Gervais Street. Costing around $140,000, the artist from Statues of Equality will be working on the project, along with Staley and her team. Mayor Rickaman is looking forward for the statue calling for female athletes to get the same support as men's sports. He says it's not just about the basketball, it's about the people. Staley continues to exemplify female empowerment and be an inspiration to USC students. This is really cool. I'm excited to see this. Just the other day on Green Street, Dawn Staley was out there with t-shirts and signing autographs. I missed it, but I was like so jealous. I saw it on the Instagram.
Yeah, I missed it too. It's been so cool to see how much of an impact that she's had on students, and I heard the line was really long as well. American swimmer Riley Gaines spoke at USC this past week. SGTV reporter Madeline Cooper has the story.
The Network of Enlightened Women at the University of South Carolina hosted Riley Gaines to speak about her platform called Protecting Women's Sports. Gaines shared her experiences as a Division I swimmer with a crowd of USC students and athletes. When Gaines swam for the University of Kentucky, she tied with a transgender athlete in the 200-yard freestyle at the 2022 Division I NCAA Women's Swimming and Diving Championships. Her experiences inspired her to create the Riley Gaines Foundation. The Network of Enlightened Women sponsored her event on campus.
A goal of mine has been to empower and inspire and equip people my age with the tools to be willing to say enough is enough.
Gaines uses her platform to encourage students to have a voice. Her goal is to empower women and female athletes.
I'm standing for something rather than against anything, and what I'm standing for is women.
The president of the Network of Enlightened Women was excited to host Gaines and hear her message.
I'm an athlete here. I'm on the track and field team, and I was also a swimmer my whole life. So this topic really hits close to home to me, and I'm just like upholding women's sports and women's rights is just really important to me. And I think in today's society, this needs to be talked about and brought more attention to.
Gaines passed the Women's Bill of Rights in 4 states so far, preventing non-biological females from competing in women's sports. The bill is in progress in multiple states. Currently, South Carolina is not one of them. For SGTV, I'm Madeline Cooper.
Thanks, Madeline.
The Republican presidential primary has concluded in South Carolina. Despite hoping for a win in her home state, Nikki Haley has lost to Donald Trump. Out of all 46 counties in South Carolina, Trump won the highest votes in all but 3. Nikki Haley won Richland, Charleston, and Beaufort County. Since 1972, nominees from major parties have not lost in their home state. Nevertheless, she is remaining in the race, saying she owes it to the voters who have the right to a real choice. South Carolina Republicans did have a huge voter turnout, more than 4 times the number from the Democratic primary. As polling sites built up long lines, some had waits up to an hour long. According to ABC4 News, some voters believe this is one of the most serious elections the United States has had.
Recent data reveals that South Carolina experienced the largest increase in fraud losses in the U.S. last year. The Palmetto State ranks 13th among states where residents lost the most money to scams. Over 51,000 fraud reports were filed last year, and $80.5 million were lost in the first 9 months. Most of the scams came from imposters posing as trusted businesses, family members, friends, tech support, and even government officials. Additionally, email scams were also common, with over 260,000 reports between January and September of last year. So how can South Carolinians avoid scams this year? According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, their biggest tips were to not password share, never pay up front for a prize, as it's usually a scam if they ask you to pay fees, and if a deal sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Coming up after the break, SGTV sports reporters Lauren Ciuci and Isabella Davis will give us the latest in sports. You don't want to miss it. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Lauren Ciuci.
And I'm Isabella Davis, here to give you the latest in sports.
If you're a big soccer fan, you should probably clear your schedule for August 3rd. Gamecock Athletics announced some big news on Friday about an event happening at Williams-Brice Stadium. Manchester United and Liverpool are a part of the English Premier teams, and they are set to play here in Columbia over the summer. The teams will be gearing up for the Rivals in Red series, which includes Manchester, Arsenal, and Liverpool. The two other stops on the tour include Los Angeles and Philadelphia. As for here in Columbia, get ready to witness the biggest international soccer match ever held in South Carolina's history. This event will allow fans from all over the world to see Williams-Brice Stadium and the great city of Columbia. Shane Beamer and Gamecock Football expressed their gratitude on X, saying, quote, "We have known this place is special, now the rest of the world will too," end quote. The pre-sale opened today and general tickets go on sale starting tomorrow. So if you want to see these two historical teams play against each other in the United States for the first time ever, now is your chance. Or if you're just eager to get back in Willie B before football season begins. This is definitely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, not only for the two teams coming to play here in America, but for it to be in Columbia is an awesome opportunity for so many people to see Williams-Brice Stadium and everything around University of South Carolina.
I agree. It'll be so cool to see these teams come over and play on American soil, not just that, but here on our soil at Williams-Brice, and hopefully this will be a chance for all the students to come back early before school starts and come to the game and just fill the stands. Number 1, South Carolina women's basketball completed their regular season sweep of Kentucky over the weekend, beating the Wildcats 103-55. This victory made USC the SEC's outright regular season champion. The game also marked the Gamecocks' 6th 100-point game of the season and their first since December. Camila Cardoso sat the game out for the second game in a row after not playing against Alabama last week to rest. Sanaya Fagan finished the game with a career-high 16 points and 5 blocks for the Gamecocks. 5 other players also scored in double digits. Bree Hall was the leading scorer during the game, bringing in 18 points for the Gamecocks. Chloe Kitts scored 10 points during the game and 12 rebounds for her 4th double-double this season. South Carolina scored the first 7 points during Sunday's game and scored 18 defensive rebounds in the first half. The Gamecocks were on the ball defensively, limiting the Wildcats to just 8 points in the opening quarter. They capitalized off Kentucky's 7 turnovers in the first, turning them into 14 points for the Gamecocks. South Carolina finished the game with 10 blocks total and scored 29 points in the 4th. Hall made a 3-point jumper in the last minute of the game, bringing the final score 103-55. The ladies will travel to Arkansas on Thursday and are set to play the Razorbacks at 9 p.m. on the SEC Network.
South Carolina men's basketball traveled to Mississippi to play Ole Miss on Saturday. At the start of the game, Ole Miss held a record of 19-7 and South Carolina held a record of 21-5. Considering the team's close records, this game was destined to be a good matchup. In the first half, scoring was back and forth, and while Gamecocks were staying ahead, it was not by much. During the last 5 minutes of the half, South Carolina managed to gain a huge lead. The score going into halftime was 36-22. Immediately in the second half, Ole Miss player Musa Cisse made a huge dunk assisted by Jalen Murray. Gamecocks were able to keep the momentum going despite the tireless efforts from Ole Miss. For South Carolina, it was a good game for Zachary Davis. starting for his 10th consecutive time and playing a total of 31 minutes. Though by the end of the game, Davis had tallied up 4 fouls, he was able to score 14 points, 9 rebounds, and 1 assist. Another player to make a big difference in this game was BJ Mack, racking up 17 points during the game. The most impressive part was Mack's ability to shoot from a variety of areas, getting 3-pointers, layups, a pair of free throws, and whatever else it took to get the ball in the net. The final score was 72-59, which bumped the Gamecocks from number 20 to number 19 in the AP poll. Catch the men's basketball team next Wednesday, where they will take on Texas A&M. I'm really happy to see that they were moved up in rankings and they're now number 18, because you could see all the hard work they're putting in this season, and I really think it's paying off even after a couple tough games last week.
Definitely. It's cool to see them bounce back from those games and then going into this game against A&M and having those rankings go up. I think this will be a good leverage for them going into that and hopefully even continue to go up in these rankings for the team.
Very excited for the future of this team.
For sure. Gamecock hockey came out of the Palmetto Cup on top against rival Clemson on Saturday, winning 5-3, marking their 9th straight win against the Tigers since 2019. In the first period, the Cocks were up 2-1 as freshman Colin Reed intercepted a pass in the defensive zone that went all the way, while shorthanded. Goalie Tyler Tamoyan made 14 saves for the Gamecocks in the first period alone. Going into the second period, Brody Smojais made a rebound to bring the Cocks up 3-1. Clemson made a goal, but not even 15 seconds later, the Gamecocks put another one on the board. The Gamecocks led 4-3 after the second and made 4 5-hole goals on 2 different Clemson goalies. Although Carolina had a lot of penalties, they made up for it defensively. Connor Berman made a 2-goal lead off of an assist from Tommy Marvin to start off the third, which brought the final score 5-3. Marking the Gamecocks' 6th consecutive Palmetto Cup. The Gamecocks are set to play in the AAU College Hockey Nationals in Westchester, Pennsylvania.
Coming up after the break, SGTV entertainment reporters Destini Austin and Hailey Brown will lay down the talk of the town. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, Carolina. I'm Hailey Brown.
And I'm Destini Austin, here to give you the latest in this week's entertainment. Are you a fan of country music? Academy of Country Music Award-winning singer Parker McCollum will be stopping by Columbia at Colonial Life Arena this Friday for his 2024 Burn It Down tour. McCollum plans on bringing his, quote, electrifying performances to audiences across the nation, end quote. Special guests Corey Smith and Vincent Mason will also be joining McCollum at Colonial Life. The famous country artist is sure to bring a fantastic performance as he says, quote, 2024 is going to be the biggest and best show we have ever put together. The Burn It Down tour is going to be absolutely epic, end quote. The concert kicks off at 7:30 p.m. with doors opening at 6:30 p.m. Grab your tickets now on Ticketmaster for a concert that will kick off your spring break with a bang.
The Nickelodeon Theater is celebrating Black artistry this week through a Black History Month film series. The event is held in partnership with the SC Commission for Minority Affairs, the Richland County Bar Association, and Columbia HBCU Benedict College, and local DJ, writer, and artist Preach Jacobs. On Tuesday, the first showing of the event will be the 2017 film Marshall, the story of the first Black Supreme Court Justice, Thurgood Marshall, starring Chadwick Boseman. The film will feature a post-screening talkback with members from the Richland County Bar Association and faculty from Benedict College. Wednesday's showing will be Jean-Michel Basquiat, The Radiant Child, a film about the rise of the young artist with rock star status in New York City in the 80s. Today, Basquiat's works sell for more than $1 million. This film will feature a post-screening talkback with faculty from the Benedict College of Communication and Arts Department and will be moderated by Preach Jacobs. And last but not least, the Thursday show will be Beats, Rhymes, and Life, The Travels of a Tribe Called Quest. This film chronicles the 90s hip-hop group's rise to fame and reveals the behind-the-scenes tensions that would eventually lead to their breakup in '98. All of these films will begin at 6:30 p.m. and tickets will cost $5. Calling all blues rock fans. The three-time Grammy nominee, blues rock star Joe Bonamassa will perform at the Township Auditorium in Columbia tomorrow night at 8. According to Guitar World magazine, Bonamassa is arguably the world's biggest blues guitarist. He has had 27 albums reach #1 on the Billboard Blues chart, and his 2014 song, Different Shades of Blue, debuted in the top 10 of the Billboard Top 200. According to the Township Auditorium, Bonamassa has, quote, almost single-handedly redefined the blues rock genre and brought it into the mainstream. In addition to his blues rock stardom, Bonamassa is a SiriusXM radio show host and is a founder of the nonprofit Keeping the Blues Alive, which is dedicated to the preservation of music education for the next generation. Since 2011, his foundation has donated over $600,000 in musical equipment, including instruments, sheet music, and recording technology. Tickets start at $49 and may be purchased at Ticketmaster.com. Use special code 327RK20 to get 20% off.
If you're into art, this Saturday event will be of interest to you. The Columbia Museum of Art will be hosting a vibrant and exciting event titled Neon Dreams, a pop art affair, this Saturday, March 2nd, from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Presented by the Contemporaries of Columbia Museum of Art, this unique affair promises to transport attendees to a world inspired by artists such as Andy Warhol, Ward Richardson, and Robert Indiana. Guests are encouraged to dress in their most colorful and eye-catching attire as they immerse themselves in the neon-lit wonderland. Individual tickets for this fun event are priced at $90 with a discounted rate of $75 for contemporary members. All money funded goes to the Contemporaries Art Fund and will be used to add new art pieces to the museum's award-winning collection. This event also helps showcase local and regional artists. Don't miss this opportunity to step inside a world where art and imagination collide in a neon-infused dream. Get your tickets now and prepare to be dazzled by Neon Dreams, a pop art affair at the Columbia Museum of Art. You know, I think events like these are great. It's always great to support the local artists in the area. Have you ever been to Columbia Museum of Art?
I have not been to the Columbia Museum of Art, which I probably should have since I'm an entertainment anchor, but I also think it's a great way to support local artists. I mean, I was just talking about Jean-Michel Basquiat, and I mean, all artists have to start somewhere, and maybe eventually they'll reach that rock star status like other artists.
That's all your entertainment news for tonight. After the break, Clarissa and Grace will return to finish up tonight's news. Stay with us.
If you're an AT&T user, you may have had a strange experience this past Thursday. More than 64,000 users experienced a cell service outage that lasted up to 12 hours for some. Many of their phones went into SOS mode, which only allows you to be able to call emergency services. According to AT&T, the issue was due to a technical error caused by, quote, the application and execution of an incorrect process used as we were expanding our network, not a cyber attack, end quote. Other networks like Verizon and T-Mobile reported issues too, but the companies said the problems were likely stemming from customers trying to connect with AT&T users. Now, AT&T says they are offering a $5 credit to potentially impacted customers, which they said is the cost of a full day of service.
With spring break right around the corner, this tropical destination is in high demand. Morgan Island is home to over 4,000 monkeys, and videos on TikTok have been showcasing the island. It is located right off of Beaufort and miles south of Charleston. Although the monkeys serve as a huge spectacle, humans are forbidden from stepping foot on the island. Signs are seen warning to not feed, approach, or injure the animals, or violators will be prosecuted. Boats and kayaks often tour around the island, and Low Country Tidal Tours says touring the island is in high demand. With a cost of $250 with tip, this captivating site is one that most tourists want to see. A new Instagram account is circulating campus and aims to promote confidence and show off USC's best outfits. SGTV reporter Bridget Berkowski has the story.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, but I really like your outfit, and I have a little fashion blog about what people wear on campus. Would you mind if I took your picture?
If you've been scrolling through Instagram lately, you might have stumbled upon USC's latest passion project. USC senior Sophie Anderson has loved photography for as long as she could remember, always capturing moments with her camera. It wasn't until she spent a semester abroad in Paris studying fashion and luxury business that she found herself a new hobby, capturing street-style outfits. Looking Cocky is a fashion blog Sophie created to continue her passion by showcasing campus diversity through students' self-expression in their style. In just 3 days, the account gained 300 followers from a social media promotion on Yik Yak. Now, the page almost has 400 followers.
Looking Cocky isn't only about highlighting campus fashion, it's also about building connections and confidence by going outside of your comfort zone.
Approaching strangers on campus to snap their photo can be a little intimidating at first.
Now that I've started, I'm a bit more bold when I talk to people to get their picture. I want them to engage with it. They'll follow it and then I'll tag them. Whereas at first I'd be like, I'm sorry, can I have your picture? I'm so sorry, bye. But now I'm really excited to grow it.
While Sophie has become more extroverted on this journey, students also walk away from this experience with a confidence boost.
People kind of sit up a little bit straighter and are happy to be noticed. And what's really fun for me is that once I kind of position how I want to take their picture, they're excited to have their picture taken. They liked their outfit and they're excited to show it off a little.
Sophie hopes to pass the account down to another undergrad passionate about student life. But for now, she continues to document USC's latest fashion trends. For SGTV, I'm Bridget Bruchowski.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, Bridget.
It's been nearly 7 years since the last total solar eclipse passed over North America. On April 8th, the skies will darken once again and over the Palmetto State. Where you'll get the best view will depend on your location. Columbia will experience 76% sun obscuration, hitting peak darkness at 3:08 p.m. Greenville will have nearly 82% obscuration, Charleston 70%, and Myrtle Beach 71%. A total solar eclipse happens somewhere in the world about every 18 months. However, for North America, this will be the last total solar eclipse until 2044. Be sure to remember not to look directly at the eclipse when it passes over and get those solar glasses before they sell out. So I actually still have my solar glasses from 2017.
Oh, wow.
But make sure you get the new ones because 7-year-old glasses probably aren't going to work very well.
Wow, I didn't even know that. Well, I better get some new glasses and I'm gonna stake out a bunch of lawn chairs in the front of the house and we're gonna have ourselves a show.
It should be really fun. That wraps up tonight's edition of Student News at 7.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at SGTV at USC.
To keep up with all our content, be sure to also visit us online at SGTV at USC.com. For SGTV, I'm Grace Berkery.
And I'm Clarissa Meier. From all of us here at SGTV, have a great night, Carolina, forever to be.